Good evening, you're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. We're coming to you tonight live from Mumbai. In fact, we're here in Bandra this evening, not far from the residence of actor Salman Khan, who faced Judgment Day in court today. The Sessions Court that was hearing the trial in the hit-and-run case of 2002 has found him guilty of all charges, including culpable homicide, and sentenced him to 5 years in jail. Salman Khan has just reached his residence, or is about to reach his residence here in Bandra after leaving court because he's got interim bail for 2 days. The High Court will be hearing his bail plea on Friday. The question we're asking tonight is whether justice has finally been delivered in this case. Well, it's a trial that has taken almost 13 years to come to an end, and even now the legal battles are not over. Salman Khan is going to appeal against this verdict. He has already gone to the High Court today to appeal against the judgment. The judge today making parallels between Salman Khan's case and that of Alistair Pereira and the BMW hit-and-run case that took place in the national capital. He could have gone to jail for up to 10 years, but ultimately the judge announced a sentence of 5 years. Later, senior lawyer Harish Salve flew into Mumbai and then went to fight Salman's case in the High Court, and within minutes, in fact within a minute actually, Salman was able to secure bail from the High Court. Let's take a look at what happened today. Salman Khan has been convicted. That is the big breaking story at this hour. The judge has convicted him of all the charges in the 2002 hit-and-run case.
12 years after he ran over 5 people at this spot near American Express Bakery in Mumbai, Salman Khan has been convicted. For his family who gathered at his Galaxy apartment home, the verdict, a shock. And for Salman, who hugged his mom and then drove to court with the driver, who lately has been swearing that it was him who drove the car and not Salman, the moment of reckoning when he couldn't hold back his tears. Inside the packed courtroom with his sisters and brothers there for support, standing in the witness box, Salman heard the judgment. Judge Deshpande said, "You were driving the vehicle. It is not probable that Ashok was driving. Noorullah died on the spot. All charges against you are proved." Some family members left the courtroom soon. Inside the court, the battle for sentencing. Salman's lawyers submitted medical documents citing an arteriovenous malformation condition. They also cited his charity work through Being Human. But the public prosecutor pushed for deterrence and exemplary punishment. The court decided on 5 years in jail.
हम हमारे तरफ से जो सच है वो बाहर लाने की पूरी कोशिश की, और न्यायालय ने भी आज ये स्वीकार किया है कि आरोपी ने गुनाह किया है.
But tonight Salman will sleep in his own bed. Soon after the Sessions Court sentencing, the High Court gave him interim bail for 2 days. For now, the tiger will not be caged.
Well, the key in this entire case has actually been the victims. Please remember that when Salman Khan's car drove over those pavement dwellers that day, there were 5 people who his car ran over. One of them died. There were 4 others who survived and had injuries that they had to live with for the rest of their lives. My colleague Neha Masi spoke to one of them earlier today.
देखा कि सलमान खान स्टीयरिंग की तरफ से उतरा, उसके बाद वो नशे में था, उसका पुलिस बॉडीगार्ड लेफ्ट साइड से उतरा.
फिर सलमान खान चला गया वहाँ से, क्या हुआ?
नहीं चला गया, जब सब लोग जमा हो गए उधर तो वो अपना चला गया.
कुछ मदद नहीं करने की कोशिश की आप लोगों को?
कुछ नहीं.
Testimonies of victims like Mohammad Kaleem Pathan sealed the fate of actor Salman Khan in court today. The court pronouncing a 5-year sentence.
9 बजे करीब गया सोने के लिए उधर. हम सोया था, रात के वही 2:30 पौने 3 बजे करीब में गाड़ी अचानक आके चढ़ गई ऊपर. जब आवाज़ आई तो हम उठ के भागने की कोशिश किया, मैं भाग नहीं पाया. उसके बाद ऑटो टैक्सी वाले और बेकरी के लोग सब जमा होके हमको निकाले.
After the accident, Kaleem had trouble with hard labor and left Mumbai for his village in Sultanpur. The 1.5 lakh rupees he got as compensation went to pay his medical bills. Now his elderly mother and siblings take care of him.
अरे बेटा का बताई, दूसरे खेतों काटा तही तब गेहूं चाउर देखे को मिलता है, घास छीलते हैं तो गाय भैंस के ला के खिलाते हैं। तो जब बच्चे कमाते तो बैठ के हम और रानी की तरह बैठी रह जाते।
But has the conviction brought closure for the victims?
अब सहमत कैसे होंगे, जब कुछ मिलेगा तब सहमत है कि ऐसे ही सहमत है। हमको मुआवजा चाहिए बस, चाहे सजा दो चाहे फांसी दो, हमसे नहीं मतलब।
तो मैं यही चाहता हूं कि जो है हमारा पैर जो है टूट गया है और उससे जो है मतलब सजा भी ना हो और हमारा जो है परेशानी जो है मतलब जो 13 साल बेकार हुए वो हमारा मतलब सही से मतलब कटे।
उसके तो अल्लाह पाक ने उसको सजा दी है, मेरे को क्या मिला, कुछ नहीं मिला। हमको सिर्फ मुआवजा चाहिए और कुछ नहीं चाहिए।
The focus in this high-profile case had for all these years remained on the actor and not the 5 victims or their families. And while justice may have been served by this verdict, no assistance forthcoming to these families, in their own words, only means that nothing really changes for them. With camera person Ramesh Verma in Sultanpur, Neha Masih for NDTV.
Let me just go across to Mahesh Bhatt first. Mahesh Bhatt, your first reactions to this verdict today?
Well, Nidhi, it was a body blow. We were engulfed by despair and confusion, a feeling of overwhelming powerlessness. When you look unflinching at reality, we got this feeling of coming to the end of the road. And then, of course, there was some kind of hope ignited when he got this 2 days reprieve. But I get this feeling that there is an end and there's an ending to that end, and I don't think we have reached that end yet, because I think unless he exhausts all the legal possibilities available to him, there will be an element of hope. But one thing that I must state categorically is that you can't talk yourself out of situations you work yourself into. And I think it's very important that for us as a fraternity and us as a nation to keep our moral compass intact and ask questions that we may perhaps be unwilling to ask, but we need to ask them, no matter how painful those questions are. That do we allow our own to get away, by deeds which are perceived to be reckless by the law? I don't think so. That's what we are saying, but we are only saying that let the punishment be in proportion to the crime, because there's a feeling that the punishment is a little too harsh.
Why do you think it's too harsh? Because Mahesh Bhatt, at the end of the day, there was a man who lost his life, in that hit and run. There were 4 others who were injured, but somebody died. And I think sometimes many would say that we lose perspective of how, what really happened that day.
I think, yes, there may be a blind spot in us because we may be involved people, and that's why we feel that there should have been a lighter punishment, because there were people around who were saying that there were other cases which had many more people who had been crushed down, and they got a lighter, a 3 or 4 year sentence. By those standards, I think it's human for people who are close to the person who's incarcerated to imagine that there would be a lighter sentence. But ultimately, if the court feel that this is what he deserves, I think the family has very categorically said that he will take it with dignity and go through the fire.
Well, let me just get Majid Memon into this. Majid Memon, there are a lot of people saying today, Mahesh Bhatt thinks that it was a harsh sentence, but there are many people who believe today that, the fact is that Salman Khan was able to go to the High Court and was able to get bail literally within minutes. And that's not something a lot of ordinary folks can do if they were in his situation.
Now, Nidhi, let me clear this false perception. It is not that Salman has been shown some favor and that the High Court came to Salman and gave him on a platter some order. You see, Salman had preparedness in the sense that he had means and he could afford, and he had that intelligence that his battery of lawyers were ready with draft appeal in anticipation that if he is convicted, this is the course to open with us. If he is acquitted, this is the course open with us. So they had to only fill in the blank like 5 years under offence so and so, and rushed to High Court. And luckily for him, in Mumbai, High Court is just next door. You can walk through from Sessions Court to High Court in 10 minutes or 5 minutes. Now, let me also tell you one thing. It reminds me that once in my own career, a 72-year-old maid was convicted on the last working day in the last hour of the day at 4 o'clock, and the session judge pronounced that she is to be taken in custody. I took it as a very serious offence, and I told the learned judge that you should have done it in the morning, leaving us enough time for the purpose of going to High Court. Yet, in the dying minutes of the working day, I walked into Justice D.N. Mehta's court in the High Court from the next door, and on my oral submission, without even an uncertified copy of the order, without an operative part of the order, I only gave Sessions case number, this is a conviction, please intervene or else irreparable injustice would be caused, the woman would be taken to prison, and I have got a good case to satisfy you when the time comes. The learned judge stayed the sentence and she was never taken in custody. She was a poor woman. She did not pay me anything. It is not that money makes a mere move. Salman, fortunately, he can afford. He had a team of lawyers. They rushed within time. They approached the High Court and prevailed upon the High Court to stay the operation of the order for 2 days. Heavens have not fallen. No departure from a normal course, and therefore people must not understand this way that, well, it is because it was Salman Khan, so he could be out in 3 hours. I had got that maid out in 45 minutes when she spent nothing.
No, but Majid Memon, at the end of the day, who's remembering the victims of the hit and run that day? Who has a word to say about the man who died?
Nidhi,
How many
now,
people
Nidhi,
know
on
his
this
name?
question, Nidhi, please permit me to explain. This is a very important and sensitive part. We, the lawmakers, will have to ponder over it. Sending an offender to the highest sentence or whatever jail or condemn him is no justice, wholly justice being done. Because what about the victims? Now here in this case, I get pained to find that those people say, I have lost my foot, I have lost my family earning member, and we have nothing to eat. And a person like Salman can afford to give them 10 lakh, 20 lakh, which is a pittance for him. And therefore, on that compensation part of it, I am not satisfied that justice has been done. They have been paid initially some 13 years, 12 years ago, and they say that money is exhausted and we have nothing to, depend upon. And on that particular aspect, I believe that natural, practical justice would dawn upon this situation only if they are sufficiently looked after and they are given enough compensation. There I agree with you that deceased and the victims must definitely get more so when the accused can afford, and therefore compensation should have come in.
Mahesh Bhatt, on this question of the victims, there are many people who would say today that is Salman Khan really the victim here? What about the man who died?
No, there's no denying that we need to look at this whole tragedy through the perspective of those poor, helpless people who were sleeping on the streets. And it's a very important question that the nation needs to lock eyes with, that are the rich and the powerful going to always get away when the weak and the helpless are the receiving end? I think no. I think anybody who believes remotely in justice would perhaps agree with and say no, this cannot be done. But the real acid test is when your own people are incarcerated and you have to, that's the time when you have to really stand out and say, yes, if you find him guilty of this heinous crime, then give him the punishment, but for God's sake, give it to him in proportion to his crime. And if we feel, because we are involved people, that it is a little too harsh, maybe we have a biases and we are using the references of somebody who was just given a lighter sentence. By those references, we mean it's harsh. But if the courts, the highest courts feel that no, Salman deserves this kind of treatment, this kind of punishment, I think the family and he himself they've been very, very clear that they would gracefully submit to the will of the law and go through the punishment like any normal Indian would.
Let me just go to Bachi Karkaria also, who joins us tonight, from Mumbai. Bachi, your first thoughts today. Mahesh Bhatt and Majid Maman have a particular point of view on how this case should be looked at. How do you see it? I mean, at the end of the day, do you think Salman has got what he deserved?
Well, I certainly think that yes, justice has been served, even though it's been after 13 long years. It can be argued that Salman had a reprieve for 13 years, that perhaps this case could have been brought to justice and to trial and to conclusion much earlier. But I think, yes, justice has been served. You can argue and say that, Salman killed one man, whereas Alistair Pereira and Sanjeev Nanda killed 7 people and got away with 3 years. In fact, with all the kind of parole and the time that they were out, they weren't even there for 3 years. But I think that it's important that this case has come to this stage, and that the bottom line really is that there should be zero tolerance for drunk driving. There have been so many arguments made out, so many excuses made in this case. Oh, I wasn't drunk, I only drank water, the Ford boy was drunk, the man who analyzed the case didn't do it in the correct fashion. I mean, all that is really pathetic, because I think the bottom line has to be that you cannot drink and get behind a wheel.
All right. I think actually what Bachi says is very important, and I'll get that from the other guests as well. But let's just go across to the young audience that we have here. What are your thoughts on the verdict today as a Mumbaiker?
Honestly, I don't know if it is fair to call this as a culpable homicide case, first of all, as Ms. Farah Ali Khan has been propagating that if the person is sleeping on the pavement, they are risking their lives and they know it. So
nobody sleeps on a pavement because they want to. You realize that
so
people are homeless.
That's a separate case altogether. We shouldn't divert it. But if they're sleeping, they know. At least they know that, okay, we're risking our lives. And
nobody sleeps on a pavement because they want to.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree.
It's because they don't have a choice.
Yes,
so what Farah Ali Khan has said is actually rather insensitive.
Yes. At the same time, I also agree that driving a car on the pavement is also not correct, and which means that Salman was drunk and he drove the car over the footpath. For which I feel that this case shouldn't be considered as a culpable homicide case, but yes, definitely a drunken driving case, and all the other cases that were filed, that make sense for me. But for the culpable homicide case,
you thought that was too harsh.
Yes,
anyone have a different view? Yeah. You have the same view. Go ahead, tell me why.
Okay, first, people are talking about what Salman Khan did, like about what he did, drink and drive, blah blah blah. But nobody talks what he is doing for the people, right? He's taking care of children, he's adopting, and he has done operations all. And I think he has spent 45 crore. Who does nowadays? I think no one.
But does that absolve him of a crime that he's committed?
No, but the verdict is too harsh.
You think it's too harsh?
Yes, because if Salman Khan goes to jail, what about the other people? You are talking about one life, but what about the other many lives which they are depending upon Salman Khan? Nobody talks.
Okay, that's an interesting point of view.
And one more thing.
Is there someone with a contrary point of view here, though? Is there somebody here who feels?
I want to add one more thing. One more thing. The people who are sleeping in the pavement, I think they don't want to. But it's a government responsibility to give them shelter. So neither the driver should be blamed, nor the people. The government should be blamed. Because they should give shelter.
Let me just get the public prosecutor in this case. Pradeep Gharat is joining us now. And Mr. Gharat, there are some young people in the audience here today who feel that culpable homicide was too harsh a charge. Well, now the court has spoken, so I think that there are really no two views on that. Those who are close to Salman Khan, his friends, they say that, he was targeted because he was a celebrity. There are others who would say he got bail from the High Court within 1 minute also because he's a celebrity. How would you look at this?
It's not like that. Please see that 304 is applied when the act is merely rash and negligent. But if the person has the knowledge that if from his act he can cause the death of a person, then section 304 part 2 is applied. So both these offences, the application of both these offences is relative. Because see, the Honorable Supreme Court is to explain it very splendidly. if a person is driving on the expressway and if he is driving at the speed of 80, it may be unforeseen circumstance that somebody may come in between, or some tire may get punctured, burst, and the vehicle may dash, or sometimes the person may get injured. These are unexpected. However, if a person is driving in a crowded street or there are some sharp turns, then under such circumstances the person is required to exercise the required caution, because he knows the repercussions of his act, that he may be responsible for death of a person or for causing injury to a person. So therefore the person is expected to be very cautious at such type of under such circumstances to drive, and under such circumstances section 304 part 2 becomes applicable for the same act only.
Do you believe this case will set an example on those who drink, for those who drink and drive? Because that's an important point that Bachchi Karkaria was raising earlier. Do you believe that this case will set a precedent?
It has to, because the entire object to pray for the punishment for 10 years, the maximum punishment, that it should be a deterrent punishment. It should give a lesson to others that they should realize as to what can be the repercussions of such irresponsible acts of driving, and that too at such places. So definitely the object that the deterrence should be there of such act, it will stand proved because of this punishment.
Okay, let me get Abha Singh here. Abha Singh, how do you see this, the entire developments that took place today? Ultimately, Salman Khan, the judge was pretty tough. 5 years is tough, and yet he gets bail from the High Court within a minute. How does one look at this?
See, when the order came, it was tough and everybody felt that justice has been finally done because the case was delayed, but culpable homicide and 5 years imprisonment. But immediately only the operative part was given, which is very surprising. They could have given the full speaking order, but the operative part was handed out to the Salman Khan's lawyers. They moved the High Court, and something called extended bail. I think in the criminal law there is nothing called extended bail. 389 CRPC very clearly says that if the imprisonment is more than 3 years, then High Court you have to appeal for bail and the bail is granted. So it should have been either bail granted or not granted, but this extended bail is a very new concept which came today. But for hit and run, to get the quantum of punishment you take 13 years, but to give bail is just 3 hours. So it has definitely left the legal community a little dazzled that how, if you have things lined up, how you move at such a fast speed. And the very fact that court did not give a detailed order, that itself became a benefit for Salman Khan to get this bail, because he had only the operative part, and it was his lawyers who said, you give us only the operative part because we want to move to the High Court. So somewhere it feels that for the common man to go to a court, it takes years. When it is convenient to you, you can delay the trial, but when you want things to move fast, it moves fast. You get the best of the lawyers. So somewhere Article 14, that is equality before law and equal protection of laws, is not applicable to everyone equally.
Well, Abha, but to be fair, he is entitled to have if he can afford the best of the lawyers and have the best of the lawyers, that is something he is entitled to do.
See, you can have best of the lawyers, but the very fact that you are given only the operative part, and that only you take advantage. Your lawyers first ask for the operative part, then you go to the High Court and say, because the full reasoned order is not there, please give us time and give us bail. And the bail is also not granted, it is not heard upon, it is an extended bail. I would like to know under what provision is extended bail given, and to how many people extended bail has been given, and that too the Sessions Court works overtime to ensure that he is let go home. When in the disproportionate asset case, Jayalalitha was not given any bail like this, interim bail or extended bail. Even Sanjay Dutt was not given. He was given 6 years conviction and he was arrested from the court itself, and after 20 days he got bail. So definitely the celebrity status has always helped Salman.